it's always an interesting start. There's so much to learn, not just schematically, but where we want them to go on the practice field and what drill names are and all those things. So yes, it's a good start, but there's a lot of things to fix and correct and get better at for sure.
What are some of those things that need to get fixed?
I'm sorry?
What are some of the things that need to be fixed and be corrected?
Well, it's a good question. What I just told the quarterbacks after practice, the first thing that we have to do to get better is take care of the football. We're turning it over too much in the passing game, and we have to get more completions, and that's got to be our first priority, trying to move forward in the passing game.
Does it make it more difficult on these guys trying to limit those mistakes and get those completions when they're moving at a quicker tempo than they've ever moved before?
Yeah, probably. They're probably a little bit more fatigued, but that's not a bad thing. Obviously that makes them have to concentrate more on what's going on, and that's a challenge. But I think that will make them mentally tougher down the line.
Is it unwieldy trying to rotate 5 quarterbacks in, or how you guys are trying to manage this right now?
Well, it's not the easiest thing that I've ever done, but I think it's the thing we have to do to understand who we have on the team. All of us have been here through an off-season conditioning workout, but this is the first 2 days we've actually physically seen them throw the football, and so obviously there's no timetable on making this decision. We want to do it as quickly as we can, but you have to have some information to make those decisions.
How have they absorbed what you've thrown at them through 2 days so far?
Good and bad. I think we have to do a better job of going from the meeting room with information and applying it on the field quicker. But there is a ton of information, just like we were talking about a second ago. They're having to learn a lot, and it's not just plays. It's just where they go on the practice field based on how we set it up.
Coach Muschamp has talked about narrowing it down to 3 quarterbacks. After 2 practices, any sort of timetable you want to set to try to get down to 3? Or?
No, we haven't set a timetable yet. We're trying to do it obviously as quickly as we possibly can, because every rep is a valuable rep, but we want to do it with as much information to make a logical decision as best we can.
In a perfect world, you get your installation done in the spring, you maybe narrow it down in the spring, and then in the fall, it's a competition for the starting job, or would you want more than that out of spring if you can?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think it's always a competition. I was reading where one coach was saying that even the meeting room is a competition, and I agree with that. The guys that are locked in, focused, and approach the meeting room is the right kind of guy, and so everything we do is a competition. But yeah, we want to get as much as we can installed through spring, figure out who we're going to be based on the talent that we have on the football team, and then obviously you have to start preparing to win football games in the fall, and that's the difference. Right now we think players, not plays. So who can we bring along to help us?
What did you see from Connor Mitch today? It seemed like he was kind of struggling early.
You know what? I think it's a guy that's still trying to learn, still trying to really figure out what's going on. But the biggest thing is he's got to take care of the football better than he is right now.
Does this remind you of your first year at Duke? What's going on right now here?
Well, any new job is that way. The difference in Duke and here is we had a guy that had been a starter for a couple years in Thad Lewis, and we had 3 quarterbacks on the roster, so you weren't having to work through as many guys.
How much of your decision, Kurt, is a strict calculus of explosive plays and turnovers and X, Y, and Z, and how much of it is feel and gut and science versus art?
I think it's all of that. I do think analytics plays a role in sports. I really do, and you do have to look at the numbers, but it's more than just numbers. You have to apply why certain things happen, not just that it happened.
Right.
And so there definitely is a gut that comes into play in that, and everything, off the field, on the field, in the classroom, all those things come into this decision.
Gary has been the first guy out there the times that we've seen. Is that an indication that he is the de facto number 1 in the rotation at this point?
Well, I think really what it is, it's an indication of the way their season ended.
Right.
And that's where we kind of picked up when we left off watching the tape that we had seen. And again, it's completely an open competition, but that's where we started. And Perry has a good presence about him.
Is there something that a true freshman, a new guy, has to prove before he even enters the competition in your mind? Like, a guy that young, I have to see him do this before he can even start worrying about anything else?
You know, I think all that stuff starts from the beginning, and it's simply handling his business. I have a really strong belief: be where you're supposed to be, doing what you're supposed to be doing as well as you can do it. And if we get quarterbacks doing that, then they've earned the right to be, evaluated.
How much adjustment period was it for you coming